All right, y'all. So I started recording. Hey, guys, let me start over. I started recording. It's May 14th, 9:33, but I did not record my screen, so I went through everything. Market is open. Yeah, so basically we have this 1 hour zone. Price is heating up clearly from it, but I won't enter a trade until it breaks this structure here. Once price push above here, then I'll look for entry. But this zone was hot. Price did push out of it. So we did have that markup. And then just in case it invalidated, we also had this zone here, but it doesn't look like we'll need it. Also, I have a teething baby today, so. Yeah, so we're waiting for this breaker structure. All right, y'all. So I was unable to actually talk during today's trade. Like I said, I have a teething baby, so we did take a trade. The trade is over. So I guess I'll just break down the trade because even in the beginning, I wasn't able to record my trading analysis because I didn't press record. So let's go over this trade for the day, and then I'm gonna get off. So hold on. Hold on, because I'm seeing this thing fall. I'm trying to figure out where we falling to now. Don't get me excited. Oops, let me fix that. Don't get me excited. I get a little excited. Noah is eating his breakfast, so if you hear him yum yum yum, that's him eating his breakfast. All right. So let's go over this trade. We're gonna start from the top-down analysis, and then we're gonna go into the trade. So this morning, if you guys remember, this candle actually was it this one? No. Okay, I think it was this one. Anyways, one of these candles, I think it was the current one, was bearish. So for me, I thought, okay, well, since this candle created a high, this was the zone it came out of, this candle will probably most likely tap into the zone and continue up. That was my thought process. So I'm like, okay, well, because it's still a buyer's market, I'm going to still aim for buys. So went to the 4 hour, same thing. Noah, bite what you can chew. Eat that one. Here. Anyways, so yeah, this is the trade we took yesterday. But anyways, so I didn't create a zone on the 4 hour because technically, like I said, it was coming down. We had a zone. I didn't know on the daily it had a zone. I didn't know how far or how deep into the zone because that was a pretty big zone. So I'm like, okay, so price could either come to this trend line, come down to this trend line, which is still within the zone, or it could just tap it and continue up. You know, price does whatever it wants. So going down now to the hour, that's when I started seeing the actual zones within the 4 hour and the daily zone, which was this zone here that I had marked up this morning, because when I came into the market this morning, price was already in this zone. So I'm gonna mark it up so we can see it. This was the first one I had marked up. Price was already tapped into the zone. It was already closing outside of the zone. This candle before market opened closed in the zone, but then as you can see, price immediately shot back up. But before we even get there, price, this is where we were when market was opening. Price was tapping into the zone. So I'm like, okay, I don't know if this pullback is done, if it wants to pull back more again, because on the higher time frame, the zone is pretty big. But on the 1 hour, I can see two separate zones. So I had this one marked up, and then I had this one right here marked up just in case it wanted to pull back some more, which it did not. This zone was pretty hot. So then went down to the 15. Again, this didn't happen yet, but went down to the 15. I was looking at the zone again. Everything looked pretty good. Now, this zone has been tapped into before. So that's something I was looking at, like, okay, it came deep into here before. So I was wondering if this was the actual zone it was aiming for, or this one. But again, I'm like, no, price is already holding in the zone. Let me just keep it here, which is what I did. Because even if it wanted to tap down into this zone, it already tapped this zone, if you can tell. Look, that's a tap. Wait. So this is a tap, and this was a tap. Why are you spitting it out, Noah? Do you need milk? You need water? Okay, so yeah. So then I was like, you know what? Let me just keep my zone. Market is already open. At this point, the market was already open. And I was ready to watch to see what happened. So then we were waiting. Market opened here. This candle here, market opened. It was still, all of these candles was closed into the zone. So I'm like, okay, there's probably a potential price will invalidate, but it never did, which is amazing because immediately price shot up. So that gave us a new zone because it broke here. And during my top down analysis, the part I didn't record, I said if price can break this minor breaker structure, we'll aim for highs because it's letting us know it wants to push higher. As you can see, that's exactly what happened. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Okay, so then market opened and price immediately shot up. It broke this structure, gave us this new zone here. And usually we would wait for price to come back on down to the zone, tap into the zone, close outside the zone, and continue up. That's usually what we would do. But me personally, when I see momentum like this, when I see these huge candles like this, I know on like the 5 minute, there won't be any entries. But I also know I want to be a part of this move if I can be. I'm not going to force it, but I am going to go down to a smaller time frame to try to catch an entry. And that's what I did. So on the 1 minute, like I said, we still have this zone. Price never came back to the zone. It pulled back a little bit, created this zone here. There was a zone here, but it necessarily didn't. It tapped, but it kissed it. It pecked it, and continued up. Now, price pulled back again, broke that high with this candle, came out of this zone. So now this zone that you're seeing right here, this purple zone, let me make it a little brighter. That did not help. This purple zone right here, it's too much going on. Hold on. There's no way for me to make. Okay, anyways. This zone right here, this 1 minute zone, this right here, Like I said, this candle was the one that broke the structure. It came out of this zone. This next candle is the one that tapped into the zone. As soon as it tapped, I got in. It was more so of an aggressive entry, but even if it wasn't, the momentum coming back out is also an indication that I wanted to jump in it as well. So I got in the trade. I aimed for a 1 or 2, and that was here. But as you can see, it kind of took off a little bit more, which is fine. Price could do whatever. But now this zone is invalid because all of this happened. Is it hot still? Yes, because price is playing here, but it already invalidated. So this is probably now a supply zone more than it is a demand zone. That means price is selling out of it. But again, do what you will with that information. That was today's trade. Super simple. I'm sorry for all the mishaps today, but I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.